Alright, we're going to take a quick look at quizzes. And Richard already is an expert on the quiz. So, you can build a quiz two ways, right? You can be in your module and click plus, and then add a quiz. So you can do it that way. That will absolutely work, so you can click new quiz right there. And then all you have to do is give it a name. So, once we've done that, and we click on edit, here's where we can get all the good stuff in our quiz. All right. Now, there's a lot to say about quizzes. The first tab here is just going to be the instructions for your quiz. All right, so you can put anything you can put in a rich content editor, you can put that in the instructions for your quiz. Below that, you tell Canvas what kind of quiz it is. So you have 4 options. All right, you have practice or graded quiz, and then you have graded or ungraded survey. So surveys really are just collecting information. Steve asked me before, can those be anonymous? And they certainly can, if you're going to use it as a survey. But for today, we're going to practice with the graded quiz. And we start getting our options. We got some good ones for quizzes. The first one is shuffle answers. So shuffle answers is going to work with, multiple choice, matching, those types of questions, so that Steve and Denise aren't going to get the same order of the answer responses. So she can't write down all the answers to the multiple choice questions. Number 1 is A, number 2 is B, and then text them to Steve because his are going to be all different. You can give a time limit to students. A timer is going to start as soon as they start their quiz. They will see it in the upper right-hand corner. You guys will take a quiz on Monday and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you can give a time limit on quizzes. You are able to give multiple attempts. So if you want to do that, then Canvas asks you which of those scores do you want to keep. So it could be the highest, the last one, or an average. And you're allowed to say how many attempts you want to offer to the students for attempts. This next question, boy, is there a lot in here. You can choose whether or not you want students to see their quiz responses. So if you don't ever want them to see the responses that they gave because you don't want them to take screenshots and then pass them around to other students, you do not need to let them see their quiz responses at all. Or you can let them see it only after their last attempt. You can let them see it only after each attempt. So you have options in there. You can also choose when or if you want the students to see the correct answers. So if you also don't want the students to see the correct answers ever. Okay, go ahead.
But there's no option for them to see the responses after the delivery.
There is an option. That's what I'm going to show you next. So you can let them see it after. So if you want the students to see the correct answers.
No, not the correct answers, the responses.
Pardon?
Their responses.
Their responses. So responses is all or nothing. Correct answers, you're allowed to say when you want them to see it. If you want them to see their correct response, their correct answer. The correct answers. So if you want students to see the correct answers, you can say, all right, they can see them only after the last attempt and at the due date, but I'm only going to let them see them for a day, and then you can hide them again. So if you're concerned about the information that you're giving out for the answers to quizzes, you can lock that down. You have the ability to show one question at a time as well. This is helpful a lot of times to students, especially if they have accommodations. Some students get very nervous with a longer exam, and they just want to see one thing at a time. So you do have that ability.
Can I
Steve? well, that's the next thing. Steve, is that your question too?
That's partly my question, but also the question, and I don't know if I can ask this of you. In one of our course management systems now, we encourage one question at a time, because if the computer fails, if it's one question at a time, it saves everything that they've done thus far, but if it's one long thing, they lose all of it.
Sure. This is an autosave, so it is saving all the time, even before the students submit.
Okay.
So don't ever worry that in the middle, like, the student's like, oh, I lost all my answers. That happened to our students all the time when we used Moodle, because it wasn't autosave. This is saving the answers as they're going, or even before they click submit.
Do you know how often exactly it says?
It's every 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
But another reason why it's nice to put it on a separate page, they can't just do a snap of all the questions
Of all
at once.
questions. Yeah.
That's the reason I'm thinking.
Sure. That's another reason.
So can you do it on one?
Yep, show one question at a time, and then you can lock questions after answering. So if you select lock questions after answering, they cannot go back.
The question, can they go back if you do show it off?
Yeah.
Or they will always be able to scroll?
Yeah, so, okay, yeah. So, alright, a couple things there. If you don't have it set to one question at a time, you're going to be able to scroll and see everything.
You can't put page breaks in between questions?
You can, but it's not, you can put a break in, but it's not going to allow you to lock that down. Yeah. If you have it to show one question at a time and you don't select lock questions after answering, they could answer 5 and then go back. Okay? If you have this selected, they're going to answer 1 and they can't ever go back to question 1 again. Go ahead.
Can you randomize the order of the questions?
Can you randomize the order? Not right now.
Only answer options.
Answer options. Right. But like I said, the quiz is being re-released in July, and that's one of the things that's going to change. It'll randomize questions too, not just the answers.
So,
Go ahead.
about that thing, so like you have the text no question, like the put in like refer to this table, but if it's randomizing all the questions, how does
So when that doesn't exist yet. So that randomizing of the questions doesn't exist yet. When it does, there'll be additional functionality where you pair things together. Yeah, you'll have the ability to customize it that way. You can require an access code. For example, a password. So maybe that's something you want to do. You know, you're only going to release passwords to students for quizzes at a certain time or whether they're in a certain place. You guys probably don't do any face-to-face, so this doesn't apply to you, right? Is there anyone who's doing?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. All right. So this next one is filter IP addresses. You can have this set up so if Rutgers decides to use this, your IT department would put the range of IP addresses. You would go in here and click find and find the ones you want to apply, so that only students who are in this place, in this computer lab, can take that quiz.
so we would have the admins look at
The admins put it in. Yep. Yes. And then it would be available for the teachers. Alright, down here is where you say, who do you want to assign this quiz to, when is it due, and when is it available? But that's not all, because we didn't even put any questions in yet. So the other tab over here is where you actually put the questions in. We have 3 options. We have new question group, and find questions. I'm sure you're really tempted to click on find questions and see what might be in there. I have some questions in my environment because we've brought them in through question banks. So if you have a publisher that might have a question bank that you can import, they do import pretty well. So you could bring them in that way. You could import them. Steve?
Do the question banks travel with the person who created the question bank or with the course?
They travel with the course. They can also be added at your sub-account or your main account level. So at either way. So if you have Canvas admins who add in question banks for you, they could be available then to the whole group of faculty.
Does response,
Yes. Yes, response. I get that question all the time, yes. And so I will actually put in my training course the document that tells you how to bring in respondents. Yeah, because there's a professor who wrote like a really great step-by-step, this is how you bring in respondents. Alright. Let's click on and see what the question types we have. Alright, so if we click on questions and we're going to add a new question, here are the types we currently have. And they look probably very familiar to you. Multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, multiple blanks, multiple answers and drop downs, matching, numerical answer, formula question. Up to there, those you put in the correct answer and Canvas is going to score it for you. Alright, so it takes a little bit of time to build it on the front end, but once it's there, it's always there. Each question that you're making is going into your personal question bank too. So it's going to be saved for you and you can pull from them later. Are there any math teachers in here? Okay. Formula question is very cool though, alright, because it is very cool. There's going to be a math question on the quiz we take on Monday. That one's very cool. I'm not a math teacher, but that one's pretty neat. Essay and file upload, if you use those in your quizzes, you're going to have to score them by hand through SpeedGrader. Otherwise, the rest you put in the correct answers. Now, you're going to get a rich content editor, so you don't just have to put in words for questions. You can put in pictures, you can put in videos. I have an example where we show a spelling quiz, and it's an audio file of me reading the words, and the students have to type in the correct spelling. So you can do lots of cool stuff in here. This one's the first one is a multiple choice, and just to select the correct answer, you're just going to make that. Just click the green arrow. So it doesn't matter which order. You, like if someone said to me, well, when I build, I'm always going to put the correct answer on top, and isn't that the kids are going to know all the time that that's the correct answer? If you put on that shuffle, then it's going to shuffle it up. So if you're building and you just click the shuffle answers, you can always put your correct one on top. Whichever the green arrow is showing for is going to be the correct one. You can give feedback in those boxes below.
Can you lock answers in the bottom position, like for all the above, none of the above?
No. That's the only that's the only bad part about shuffle. That is being fixed in the new quiz release. So in about a month that'll be fixed. So you can give these boxes is where you put in feedback, and again for feedback it could be pictures, it could be audio, it could be video. We can make really awesome quizzes. Alright, go ahead and try adding 2 different quiz questions to your quiz, your practice quiz.